Dobro jutro, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us this morning here. Mr. Luta, thank you very much for joining us here at the Kopaonik Business Forum at Serbia. It's really a pleasure to have you as a speaker.
You're welcome, Vesna, and dobro jutro, kako ste, everyone. So hope you had a great evening yesterday, and thank you very much for inviting us to participate in this beautiful event, beautiful town of Kopaonik, but it's a great milestone, 30 years, and we're here as a true partner of Serbia. So I'm very honored to be here.
Yeah, we will speak about the Serbian partnership with the United Arab Emirates, but let's start with the competitiveness. Why that word is so important for your country? So why you choose that path?
You heard it actually from someone very special, Vesna. You had an interview with our president, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, some years ago. Hopefully, I will build on a few things that he told you when you met. For us, competitiveness is about providing better services and better environment, and to ensure sustainability and prosperity for the people of the UAE, whether you're a resident or you're a citizen, a private sector, whomever. Anyone should believe that the future of the UAE is going to get better and better every year. Therefore, competitiveness is something very important for us. Competitiveness is about us being agile, being on our toes every single day, trying to make things better and trying to make tomorrow better than today. One thing we learned is that nations that stand still, eventually they die and collapse. It's by imagining the future, it's by designing the future. We need to be architects. It's like building a house. We build our nation as if we're designing a house. You need to be an architect, but an architect needs construction, they need interior designers, they need landscapers. So we need to execute. Once we do the execution, we need to work on maintaining that we're always there. We're always on top of things. What are the things? Is it healthcare? We need to be on top of healthcare services. Is it infrastructure? We need to be on top of the infrastructure. We need to be on top of the economic resilience and economic growth. Therefore, competitiveness is about ensuring that we're attractive as a nation every single year. It's about being a magnet for businesses as well as for individuals. We want to be the destination for people where they can thrive, for businesses where they can grow, for people who have big dreams and they know that their dreams can come true if they operate with the UAE or in the UAE.
So what was your milestone, at this very beginning, a milestone of your country to grow up in such a great success country, but to maintain on this path of competitiveness?
When the nation was started in 1971, it's a young nation when you think about the 50 years plus and what happened on the ground throughout the years. It's something phenomenal. And only few nations experience such massive growth. Now, the growth is built on a very important factor, which is human capital. It's not about building the roads. It's not about building the bridges. It's not about building the school or the clinic. It's who's going to run the school, who's going to run the hospital, who's going to manage the metro. It's the mindset, it's the human capital that is very critical. So the nation invested a lot in the human element. We started with education. Education is something of critical importance for any nation. And I know Serbia is doing a lot in education. Actually, we're learning a lot from Serbia because we know that the curriculum being taught here is amazing. The graduates, especially in the math and technology and innovation, they're at par with the best of global peers. And we are trying to catch up, and we're trying to cooperate with Serbia on this part. So education is very important for building one of the key pillars for competitiveness. The nation started and we created the building blocks for the UAE. At one point of time in 2009, it was an era after the financial crisis. And many people started attacking lots of countries. And one of the countries that were attacked by global media was the UAE, and Dubai in particular, for reasons that we did not understand.
Attacked in which way?
In the country is collapsing, the market is collapsing.
Like negative way, yeah.
The country will not bounce back, it will not come back, it's the end of... And we were wondering what's happening with all these international reports. So we started something called the Competitiveness Department. We started as 3 people. So I received a message from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President, Prime Minister, ruler of Dubai. And he said, we need you to create a team that will scan all the international reports that put the UAE in a specific rank, good or bad. But look at these reports and have a dialogue with these global entities. And some of them are listed here, partners. They list countries and they rank them. They tell you you're bad in A, B, and C. The way we did it, we went to these organizations. We said, you tell me I'm bad as a nation. Tell me how can I do things better? What is it that we need to do to become more competitive? And this message is important for UAE as well as for Serbia and for any nation that want to advance. The toughest part is when these organizations, they tell you you're not doing well, but they don't know how to tell you how to do it better. This is a challenge we face with some organizations. So we went to organizations and they highlighted the 3 main factors for any nation to advance. Laws and regulation is very important. If we think about a triangle, one part is laws and regulations. Since 2009, we looked at more than 2,400 legal matters and clauses of current laws of the UAE, more than 2,400. All these things were modernized and advanced. So this part of the triangle, we're trying to fix every single day. What laws are causing a damage to the UAE today? We're working on it. The other one is data. And data is very important. And this country, with the economic growth that you have and the innovation and the advancement in digital economy, data is a critical core area of this particular sector. So we focus on data. We worked on more than 900 data points. Data are divided into bad data, which we need to make them good data, or data that are not being reported because, history, we never collected them, or data that are incorrect, captured by global organizations, which we need to correct. So we fixed that. So this went well, this one went well. And the last one of the triangle is very important, Vesna. And we have them here, private sector. No matter what we do, if the private sector is unhappy with the way government is operating, you will not succeed. The private sector has a very strong voice, and the voice comes from within because they want to grow, they want to thrive. At the end of the day, they have a P&L at the end, and it has to show perfect if it's double digits or 3 even. So they want to show growth. So what do they require from any governments? One critical factor.
Stability.
Stability is one, for sure stability, justice. Everyone equal before the law. Governance, enforcing laws, transparency when dealing with businesses. Safety, security is very important. If you want to operate in any nation, you think about safety. Am I going to operate, being worried that I'm going to be robbed or, attacked or something? So safety is very important. And there has to be also the pipeline of future talent,
and
youth.
They have to have trust, for this government. I think that is also very critical. It was very critical for you also back that time.
True. Trust in government is very important. The World Economic Forum, when Davos happens, Edelman, they published their Edelman Barometer for Trust in Government. The UAE comes second worldwide. Let's say we have 190 nations or 200 nations. The UAE is number 2 in trust in government officials and leadership. It's not about the political system that you have. You can have whatever political system that suits your country. It's do you deliver on your promises as leaders? And I think one thing we believe in our nation, and all the people that live in the UAE, and lots of them are Serbians. I have lots of friends from Serbia there. They say, whatever you guys promise to deliver, you deliver.
But you had these 3 milestones, and actually you also had money, and you have money. So you had a strategy how to make your country competitive to other and be at the top worldwide.
Yeah. Money is a tool, and many countries were gifted with money and resources, but they failed to achieve 1% of what we achieved. So it's not about how much wealth you have. It's about how do you use that wealth. And do you have future plans? We always do. We have a couple of things that we need to focus on as a country. This is what we learned internally. Agility is very important. Contingency plans. What if something happens? What if the oil price drops to $10? And it did drop at one point of time to $9 and less. Contingency plans, plan B, plan C. The what if scenarios of the worst thing that could happen, such as the pandemic, for example. Lots of countries are richer than the UAE when it comes to wealth. And let me clarify one thing. Abu Dhabi is rich in oil, but they have a strategy to diverse. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, whom you met, he clearly said, many countries are afraid of the future. What will happen if they run out of oil and gas or coal or whatever natural resources they have? He said, we will celebrate the exporting of the last barrel in the UAE, because by that time, we will have a diverse economy 100%.
Yeah, definitely. That's what he told me 10 years ago when I had this interview with him, with how diversity is important, and that is your definitely milestone for your strategy and for your country.
And we did that in Dubai. But you know that many people know that Dubai has no oil and gas. Dubai has no oil and gas. So how did Dubai become Dubai? We don't have oil. We don't have gas. It's the talent, it's the mindset of the leader, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. It's making a tourist destination in a place where you think about it, desert. You know, there's a desert, there's the beach. But now it's the financial market of the world. When you think about financial market, whether you want to do arbitration or whatever, you think, shall I go London, Dubai, or Singapore, or New York? Dubai. When you think about tourism, many people travel to Dubai. We hosted more than 25 million tourists last year. Dubai was named the best cities to visit for families. So when you think about the investment that they put in tourism, in the financial sector, in commodities and securities, it's with the private sector. It's the enabling the private sector to live and operate with so much peace, with so much clarity from the government. That's why when you go to the Palm Island, the who's who is there in terms of hotels brands. And everyone is competing to provide one thing, which is, we know, this is close to His Highness's heart. Services to be provided, and it has to be the best service in the world. That's why when you go to Dubai, you take off in Emirates Airlines, or Fly Dubai or Etihad, you know, you just entered the UAE borders. Services is crystal clear. As a message, when I work in government, they say you have one job in life, to serve. And I heard it. I'm a deputy minister, and the message was clear when I got appointed. Your job is to serve people. Serve means I need to listen to private sector, I need to listen to individuals, I need to take notes, I need to action on these notes.
So back that time, what was for your country biggest challenge to be this competitive as you are now?
It's a race. We're in a race trying to do things, but we run things in parallel. So when I focus on my portfolio, which is competitiveness and data and modernization of laws, there are thousands of government employees that are thinking far ahead of me. They're working very hard, but we work as a team. We're a federation. Central government, but we have 7 local emirates who we all work together to make the UAE a better place. We have a team that is working. This is something maybe many people will be shocked. We brought together more than 700 people from government, from consultancy firms, private sector, youth, children, patients, doctors, and we said, you are locked with us for almost 10 months. Imagine. And this is when you imagine your country. Imagine your country in 2071. We celebrated 50 years, 2021. Imagine your country 2071. So people started putting together their wishes. And we said, okay, this is the centennial, 100 years of the UAE. And we said, for many people, including myself, including my wife and children, to understand this bigger vision, we need to go down a little bit and make it simpler. So we worked on 10 years interval. The soonest one is 2031. We call it, we are the UAE. We did not say, I am the UAE, as Abdullah, or Manal, or Maryam. We said, we are the UAE. It's the togetherness where everyone share the same common. I think this is for nation building. If you're building a nation, there has to be a common vision, a common destination. No matter how different we are, no matter what my color skin compared to yours, or my belief and yours, one common vision. We want our nation to be the best.
It is very temptational, especially in this uncertain time, to cope with such a crisis. And today and these days, we are talking about resilience of economy in this uncertain time. So, how do you cope with this uncertain time? Do you have any thoughts to share how to deal with this one more crisis that we had and have?
Which one of them? Which one of them? Maybe we're referring to the pandemic?
Yeah, and pandemic and also energy crisis.
And
in
Europe
crisis, we have war, so it's very tempting.
Of course, everyone has a role to play. With the pandemic, we always think of ourselves as a good citizen of the world. We don't think about what is good for the UAE, but what is good for the UAE and beyond. And Serbia is a true friend of the UAE. We know this, and we try to work together on so many things. But when the pandemic happened, our system was ready to accommodate. We started the virtual education and the e-learning way before. It was 2000 when we had everything ready. So it was switch off, switch on. Schools did not stop. Nothing stopped. When we thought about the hospitals, we created centers for testing across the malls, across the small shops, across the roads. We did the testing, but we also did the vaccines. When the vaccines were still delayed, we went with whatever is available. We said, at least let's do something to protect the nation. We did the lockdown before many other countries. We were maybe one of the first 5 countries in the world to do lockdown. We created the app that shows if I'm positive or negative and how long. So all of these resources were used to ensure that the country is resilient. We felt it, but the best part is it was captured by someone like Bloomberg, and they rated the UAE as #1 country that is resilient during the COVID years. The BBC issued an article. You can Google it. There is an article on BBC. It says, why this country was resilient, and they were referring to the UAE. It's when people work together in an integrated system, in a collaborative system, federal and local, saying we need to protect our people, and our people means everyone, 10 million people almost, everyone. Not by force, by choice, by encouragement. If you don't want the vaccine, stay safe. Do not go around. If you want the vaccine, it's available for free. Not 1 dose, 2 doses. If you want the 3rd dose, it's available. So the country invested a lot in protecting. But what they did, they reached out to the world. And this is part of Sustainable Development Goals number 17, global cooperation. Live and walk the talk. If we say we need to help others, show that you help.
Do you at this moment feel these consequences of a financial crisis, energy crisis? How do you cope with that? In terms also of competitiveness.
Okay. To be very honest, these things had a positive impact on us. I know this might sound bad for some nations, but for the COVID situation, we had people flying and operating in the UAE. The real estate market went up. Hotels were fully booked. People came from Europe operating in the UAE with their children, doing e-learning and working remotely for months. Once that's done, they decided to stay behind. That's why the market is growing. But what we see, of course, the real estate market is booming, the financial market is doing well, but we're expecting more than $1 trillion of high net worth individuals being in the UAE by year 2026. That is a huge, massive influx of global talent and global wealth deciding to operate from the UAE. Not because it's tax haven. Taxes are there now. We introduce taxes, but because they know they're protected and they're safe. The UAE is ranked number 1 country in the world to walk at night, safety at night. Okay, this is according to the World Bank and the World Economic Forum and the IMD of Europe and so on. The safest country in the world to walk at night. This is something very important for people that want to live and operate and have their children. And it's tougher for them to move away from such environments later on.
You have told that you cooperate with Serbia. Why for your country Serbia is good partner or important partner? How do you feel about partnership with Serbia?
Because they're like us, they work hard. We like to work with people that we share with them similarities. As I said, maybe we come from a different culture, different values, different backgrounds, different tradition, different food, different festivals, but we share one thing in common. We love our nations, and we both work very hard. I'm sorry to say we're not lazy. Many people know that we work. I wouldn't say it's the survival of the fittest, but it's a very competitive environment in the UAE. Very competitive. And everyone who's there, they know that by working hard, by giving it your best, you will reach places. Whether you want to work for private sector or government or NGOs or international organizations or be an employee of someone, you will grow.
So what is connection with Serbia in that
We
term?
speak the same language. We have different aims. We have similar aims, maybe different ways of getting into the goals, but we have similar aims, which is growth, which is being on top of things, being a leader in our surroundings. We want to be good role models. Good role models.
In which way you also can share your experience with the countries, not just Serbia, but also in other region, to stay on this path of competitiveness, that we can learn something from you?
We started something called the Government Experience Exchange Program in 2018, and Serbia is a partner with us in this, where we signed an MOU with, today we have 29 countries. And again, this goes back to goal number 17, global cooperation for better humanity. We have so many good experiences in the UAE. We achieved good things, and many countries are calling us and visiting, they're trying to learn. So we said, why don't we put this in a framework where if you want to learn how to manage an airport or an airline company like Emirates, or you want to know how you do renewable energy, then we have Masdar City. If you want to learn how to, for example, ensure safety and security, then we have the Ministry of Interior and we have the police service and so on. We said all these best practices are there for everyone to learn from at no cost. Lots of countries in the world, without naming, they will provide this, but they will tell you, this is how much it's going to cost you. You want experts in electricity? In electricity, we're number 1 in availability of electricity, of energy, when it comes to electricity. Many people are saying, tell us how do you do that? Many countries will tell you, this is going to cost you $100,000 or $1 million. We will say, come forward. Just come and visit and see, or we will send people to share with you the experience. We did that with Serbia. We started the MOU in May 2022. So we still have 3 months to celebrate the first anniversary. Can you guess, Vesna, how many staff did we train? More than 1,300 government officials from Serbia got trained in the UAE. Branding, marketing, communication, leadership training, and so on. We had more than 80 workshops delivered between for Serbia with Serbia. So when more than 5,000 hours of training were devoted to Serbia by the different organizations, the Road and Transportation, Dubai Brand, Dubai Ports, Masdar, and so on and so forth. So everyone is willing to share experiences. And this is how people operate. It's by working together.
What is next step for that cooperation?
Bigger things, bigger things. We would like to hopefully launch a few great milestones. Many people, the average citizen, this is what we agreed on. The average citizen on the streets of Koponik or Belgrade will know that there is a good partnership between Serbia and the UAE. So seeing, believing, living, that experience will happen. Now, what we're doing it on the ministerial level and the official level. Soon, there will be some physical spaces, hopefully, fingers crossed, where people will know, oh, this is actually done with the UAE to serve the nation better. The average, Dimitri and the average Vesna and the average, person will benefit from these products and services that we're going to create together. Again, it's not copy-paste, because this does not work. It's about, this is a model in the UAE, you make it better, because you have bigger plans, you know your culture, you know what works, you know what does not work, and you have your own environment. So take this, whatever we have, and make it even greater. And this is what we do together.
And let's get back to UAE. So about your next steps, about your challenges, because you also have Ministry of Future, and you are in the future now. So what is your, according to your position now, what will be biggest challenge for your country in next decade?
I wouldn't say it a challenge. I would say it an opportunity, which is focusing on the digital front and the advanced technologies. The path ahead is about innovation. Of course, Serbia is known for innovation, digitization, advanced technologies, AI. So I think this is the path that we're betting on, and it's a very well calculated bet for us. Youth is very important for us, enabling the youth, the strong education, the right curriculums, making sure that they have wider horizon, they're global citizens of the world rather than just UAE. This is very important for us. So the human is about the youth, and the sector is definitely, there are lots of sectors where we achieved a lot, but the sector that is critical for us is the digital, and how the digital economy will grow, hopefully will double in a span of 4 to 5 years. Today, it contributes to around 9.7% of the GDP. We aim to do 19.4 by 2025-26. That's a huge number, a huge jump, but we're putting together the plans for it. We're investing in creating an ecosystem for entrepreneurs to work in this particular area of coding and programming and advanced technologies. We're pushing an investment of more than, currently we invest around 1.5 billion it's going to reach 4 plus billion. We want to bet on UAE coders, so we want to push for 100,000 UAE coders and programmers in the span of, a couple of years from now. So this is the path ahead.
So this is opportunity, but do you yourself have some fear how it will happen? Some worries?
Not really. I think fears do not exist in our dictionary. If once you have fear, you set yourself for failures. We have plans. We have plan A, plan B, plan C, what if, but we're not going to fall. Even if we, about to fall, we're going to stand up much stronger. And the history did prove that the UAE, whenever something happened, we became stronger than the last time where we were about to lose our leading position. It's the comeback where we accelerate. So instead, if our speed was 200, I'm pushing, it's 200 kilometers per hour, I'm pushing to 1,000 kilometers per hour. And this is what's happening. During the financial crisis, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, against all the odds in the world, everyone's saying crisis, financial crisis, and so on and so forth. He said, 9th of September 2009, the peak of the crisis, Dubai will launch the metro. The metro today transported millions of people, millions of people. Many people said, why do you have metro in the UAE? Dubai Metro moved more than 20 million people. The number is phenomenal in per year. And when people questioned the Burj Khalifa, why do you want to build Burj Khalifa? And he said, 10th of October 2010, we will celebrate the launch of Burj Khalifa.
You were part of that project.
I was part of Amar at that time, the developer. But Burj Khalifa is a fascinating story. The whole area was a military camp, an old military camp. And His Highness said, you know what? Why do we need military camps? We're one country, one unity under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Zayed and Sheikh Khalifa and Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and the capital, Let's redevelop and reimagine this place. And it was called downtown. This place now brings to Dubai and the UAE millions of visitors, because many of us would like to take that picture with Burj Khalifa in the background.
Definitely.
So when you transform a land where it was protected with barbed wires, with weapons, it's untouched, you can't come closer, you can't take pictures, and now it's becoming one of the most photographed locations of the world. You transformed that area.
On which project during your personal career are you most proud of?
I'm proud of that's a tough one. I'm proud of every single journey. I worked as a teller in my first job in the bank, and I think I learned a lot throughout my career. I think today I'm serving my nation. There is a fire inside me. There is a purpose to make the country a better place, not for myself, but for my children and the grandchildren. But even when I was in the private sector, I knew that as a UAE national, I had a responsibility. I wanted to prove that I can survive by working in Microsoft. I wanted to prove that any UAE national can work in Microsoft and win the Bill Gates Award. And I did win the Bill Gates Award for the best employee in public sector in 2005. And I was the first one to get that at that time. When you think about these things, it's about proving that we can do it. This is where you ask about fear. There is no fear. We are all able and equipped with good resources. We were brought up in that particular manner. You spoke about that initially. It's the way our parents brought us up. It's how our environment, how schools, we go and get.
And maybe to conclude, what is your some advice and maybe some bigger picture to share with us in terms of competitiveness and how one country can be on the right spot during the time and be competitive to other countries?
Maybe my advice, you don't do competitiveness for the sake of competitiveness. As in the UAE, when I handle competitiveness with my team, it's not about what the World Bank will say about me or the IMF or the World Economic Forum. It's good to be placed in that report in a good way. But you do competitiveness for the core of competitiveness. You do it because you want your country to be attracting foreign direct investment. Because investors look at these reports and they look at laws, they look at education, they look at health, they look at transparency, they look at all the factors that are in these reports. Many private sector, they look at them and they judge. Now, some of them are very perception-based. You know, before I came to Serbia, I had a perception. But when I came to Serbia, maybe my perception became more real and because I saw things, or I changed some of it because I saw things on the ground. So I think seeing is believing, and being in the UAE for many businesses, competitiveness, they know that because we're trying to improve things on the ground, the UAE is going to become better. Now, what I would advise Serbia, of course, you have a very strong team on the ground. But with all the global organizations that you trust and you have a good relationship with, connect with them and let them give you something. I will say it in a very simple way. Let them give you a homework. How could Serbia become better in the World Economic Forum Human Capital Report, in the World Economic Forum ICT reports, in the IMD Talent Report, in the INSEAD ITU Innovation Report, in Women Business and the Law report. Women Business and the Law, the UAE was the second before last. Second before last. We didn't know about this report. It came in 2019. We were shocked why the UAE is ranked so low. It's because we have laws from the 60s and the 70s that are kept in the drawers and no one checked and updated them. So we changed everything. And now the UAE is #1 in women in parliament. We have 50-50, better than every single OECD country. We have 50 women, we have 50 men in parliament. We are the best in the region when it comes to women business and the law. So when you look at these reports, it's like having a diagnostic, you know, opening up your system, finding the loopholes, finding the issues that you have, and fixing them. You're going to be the surgeon, Vesna, you and the team. When you expose your nation truly for the motive of positive change, this is when you address these issues without thinking twice. Is there an agenda? Do I need to do this because I want to please X or Y? No. You do it because it's good for Serbia, not today, for Serbia in 2050 and 2060. So these are the kind of things that if I advise is, because it's very easy to do it. The reports are there. You just need to, we have this as actually part of the agreement. We're willing to share all the details of how we operate. Today we monitor, we started with 3 reports in 2009, 2 and 3. Two, and the third one was not really
today?
a major report. Today we focus on 22 reports. 22. In 20 of them, we're the best in the region. And when I think about the region, I think of all the Middle East countries, including Israel, including Turkey, everyone from Morocco all the way. When we say we need to always stay on top, not because we want to be the leader, but there is an issue of law X we need to fix, with a procedure that we need to change. One thing that we need to do in any country, if you want to go and visit a ministry to finish one paper, they will tell you, go to that ministry, go to that office, go to that building. We don't want to do that. In the UAE, we don't do that. We have Service One. It's about one visit, one time procedure, one transaction, and I deal with one person. I'm the customer, you're the client relationship manager, I give you my papers, it needs to go to Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Economy, Minister of Infrastructure. I don't care, I'm going to only see Vista. How much do you need? $100, it is a credit card, and you need to accept all kind of payment methods. You can't tell me I only accept cash, or I can only accept cards. You need to offer the client whatever is there. So it's one visit, one procedure, one transaction, and one person, and everything behind the scene.
And job is done.
I don't care. That's called, we have it called Service One. We did that with Egypt. We call it Service Egypt. We launched an office in Aswan, in a service center in Aswan. When you think about Egypt, you think about 100 million people living there. So people are really enjoying getting such a service where they can get things done in a span of 1 hour or less.
Thank you. Thank you, Abdul, very much for sharing these thoughts and your time with us and our audience here. I enjoyed in this interview, I hope, and our audience is too.
Thank you very much, Visna.
Hvala vam.
And thank you very much for everyone. Thank you for attending this morning chat. Thank you.